Ray. What do you want to do tonight?
Same thing we do every night, Pinky. Try to take over the world.
Success Through a Positive Mental Attitude by Napoleon Hill and W. Clement Stone. 1960. In a nutshell, willingness to see the benefit in every disappointment may seem a cliché, but it is a mark of successful people. Henry Ford had an idea for a new gasoline engine involving 8 cylinders cast in a single block. He knew that such an engine, if put into production, would be a great success. He asked his engineers to develop it, and they came back and told him it couldn't be done. "Produce it anyway," he told them. They came back without a workable engine, but he told them to keep trying until they had something. The Ford V8 became one of the most successful engines in history, putting the company way ahead of its competitors. Hill and Stone mention this story because it shows how different attitudes alone can produce completely different results. You can put either a positive or a negative spin on any event in life. This idea was demonstrated scientifically by Martin Seligman. In his classic Learned Optimism, he used the term explanatory style to describe the differences between people according to the meaning they give to events. In studying salespeople, he found that while one salesperson is disheartened by a series of rejections, another will believe they're getting closer to the person who will say yes. Optimists, he found, perform better statistically. The Greatest Success Principle. Napoleon Hill and Clement Stone were great scholars of success. Yet in the one book they wrote together, they decided to focus on positive mental attitude. After years of studying successful people, they found this to be the one thing they all shared. Achievers have an ingrained philosophy of "it can be done," while the rest of the population tend to believe the opposite, focusing on fear rather than faith. Successful people are continually wondering, what if, and setting difficult goals for themselves. They have a different attitude to failure, which is seen more as feedback than as any permanent comment on themselves. Another attribute of the successful that Hill and Stone found was that they go the extra mile. Thomas Edison, for instance, conducted 10,000 separate experiments before he invented the incandescent light bulb. It's often when you try one more time that success comes, whereas a negative mental attitude leads you to give up just before the darkness turns to light. The authors list 17 success principles, but suggest that a positive attitude is the glue that binds them all together. To be positive is to always embrace life and success. Happiness and wealth are attracted to those who are full of life. Negative attitudes only repel these blessings. Many things may be said about why a person becomes successful, but a pleasing personality is vital. Not merely for how others see you and whether they will want to deal with you, but for your own self-confidence. When our attitude toward ourselves is big, and our attitude towards others is generous and merciful, we attract big and generous portions of success. The authors write. Read to Succeed. Written many years after Hill's Think and Grow Rich, 1937, Success Through a Positive Mental Attitude includes stories of the many people whose lives were changed after reading that book, such as the champion Australian swimmer Dawn Fraser. While Think and Grow Rich is a motivational powerhouse that grew out of a 20-year study into the most successful men in America, Success Through a Positive Mental Attitude is more well-rounded, with an emphasis on succeeding in any area of life. It contains many references to business figures who are not well known today, such as Edward Bok, 1863 to 1930, the Dutch immigrant who became a celebrated editor and publisher, and Henry Kaiser, 1882 to 1967, a philanthropic shipbuilder and industrialist. In addition, the authors spare a significant amount of word space for the achievements and thoughts of industrialist Andrew Carnegie, who encouraged Hill to devote 20 years to studying successful people. While its basic value lies in the concept of positive mental attitude, the book is made more interesting by the way it celebrates the literature of success. Everyone from Samuel Smiles, self-help, to Orison Swett Marden, pushing to the front, to Horatio Alger, Ragged Dick, is discussed, as well as some of the author's contemporaries such as Claude Bristol, The Magic of Believing, and Frank Bettger, How I Raised Myself from Failure to Success in Selling. Yet Hill and Stone reserve their greatest acclaim for the Bible, and include a list of biblical quotations for further inspiration. Some may wonder how you can discuss the Bible, sales manuals, and Think and Grow Rich in the same breath. But Hill and Stone see no irony. The success literature can be so broad because it's bound by one golden thread: the idea of living up to your potential in every way. Final comments. Success through a positive mental attitude contains a fair amount of old-style motivational ideas. However, the psychological laws that assisted success in the 1950s are the same today, and the ability to maintain a positive outlook under pressure is still worth a fortune in the business world. Stone had discovered this for himself in the Depression, when his insurance business was in trouble and he needed to find a way out. He stumbled across Hill's Think and Grow Rich, and its call for definiteness of aim helped him turn things around. The two men didn't meet until 1952, by which time they could look back over many years of failure and success and draw out some lessons. The first, they agreed, was that you really could become a better and more successful person simply by choosing to remain positive. Nelson Mandela, Long Walk to Freedom, is one of the great examples of positive mental attitude in action. No matter what happened to him, he believed that one day he would be freed from prison and lead his people into peace. Mandela's victory is an example of what Hill and Stone call inspirational dissatisfaction, the motivation you experience when something happens that you feel should not be happening. But while some people will be engulfed in fury or depression, others will be determined to make constructive amends. Eleanor Roosevelt, who overcame a tragic childhood and many setbacks to become First Lady of the world, is another great example of consciously choosing to be positive. We may know the phrase, turning lemons into lemonade, but do we really understand how greatly a positive mental attitude can transform our lives? The way we explain things to ourselves is perhaps the most important factor in whether or not we will be a success at something. Because while everyone has setbacks, a much smaller set of people are able to accept them quickly and move on, knowing that things must soon change for the better, as they inevitably do. They have discovered the success secret that optimism is power. W. Clement Stone. Stone was born in 1902. His father died when he was still a toddler, leaving the family with no money. The teenage Stone became a newspaper seller on the streets of Chicago to help his mother pay the rent, later moving to Detroit to join her in selling accident and life insurance door to door, sowing the seeds for an insurance fortune. He became the founder and chairman of the Combined Insurance Company, which initially prospered in the Depression through the sale of travel insurance to the many people on the move throughout America. A noted philanthropist, Stone is said to have given away $275 million to charity and was involved in the Boys and Girls Clubs for many years. He was also a significant donor to the Republican Party and attracted controversy in his financial support of the Nixon administration. Famous for his pencil-thin mustache and bow ties, his other best-known work is The Success System That Never Fails. He died at age 100. This biography is partly based on Harold Jackson's obituary in The Guardian, September 17, 2002.